from the Scarborough Esplanade all the way down. And what we are intending to do is to create quite a number of shops. Of course, we're going to upgrade the current facility, which is the Scarborough Esplanade, ensure that we have the bars, ensure that we have restaurants, so that we can have and create hubs of activities there. And of course, open up business opportunities for people going forward. It is going to be well landscaped in terms of appearing very green. The building will have the facade of something that is very traditional, because we have been talking about selling a very traditional Tobago, and of course living the culture Tobago style. So the buildings will also take on that kind of look that easily says that, Tobago is a traditional is a traditional place, but at the same time very modern in terms of the systems and the technology. And so that would also have access to free Wi-Fi, use of technology, and there will also be a parkade amongst other different facets that will make up this part of the proposed Scarborough revitalization or waterfront project, so to speak. I think the important thing in all of this is that the funding is readily available. For some time now, we have been having discussions with the Inter-American Development Bank, and they have approved $40 million of the $60 million to start the first phase. So it is now the role of the Tobago House of Assembly to find $20 million, which we have already found. The drawings are already developed, stakeholder consultations are ongoing at this time, and the intention is to start the project that would be the second quarter of the fiscal period, which would be January 2022. So there are exciting times, there are opportunities that will be created for Tobago. Because of course, that this comes on the heels of all that has been happening in the last year or so. We have the airport construction, that is another $1.2 billion, and that will see on a yearly basis 3 million passengers, or cater rather for 3 million passengers. And on top of that, you have the Marriott project that will come. That will bring another 300 rooms. So the point is, we have to be in a position, if we are to attract the flights, if we are to attract more persons coming from Trinidad, especially those who can easily be considered in the top echelon, we have to be in a position to create the kind of product that will cause them to come. And far too often persons would be of the concern that all we have in Tobago is sun, sea, and sand, basically. We want to be able to add to those opportunities, those sites and attractions that we currently offer, and that is why we are pushing in this regard. I just want to indicate that the $50 million that has been announced by the Chief Secretary is no election gimmick. We have been working with the private sector for some time now. As a matter of fact, I think since the Division of Tourism and Transportation was established, a significant part of what we do is to ensure that we treat with some of the issues of the private sector. And so over the years, quite a number of programs have been developed, which is, of course, in keeping with providing that support to the private sector. And so this $50 million comes on the heels of that. In the last fiscal period, we had put aside, with the support of the central government, another $50 million that was set aside for room upgrades, ensuring that the physical plant is ready for when the borders open. And so this $50 million will, of course, assist them as well in terms of ensuring that their payroll and those kind of things are ready. When the borders open, I think it's probably later this year. So the point of the matter is, this is the culmination of our work. The Tobago House of Assembly, the Executive Council, continues to function until the time that the election has been won and other secretaries are sworn in. And so this has nothing to do with election, but of course us recognizing that we are in a very, very unpredictable time with the COVID. it has caused significant impacts on our people, for the business sector, the tourism sector in large part. And as I have always committed, we are about ensuring that we provide solutions to the challenges that we currently face.
Excellent. This country's food import bill has, from time immemorial, been a big issue for many, and there's been discussion about treating with that matter from the perspective of agriculture. Mr. Dennis would have announced a program where lands would be distributed to young people to try and encourage them to come into the agriculture sector and in the first instance make a contribution to the country's food supply, but also to develop businesses for themselves. So you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, yes, we have been talking about food security in Tobago and in Trinidad and Tobago for the longest while, because you're right, our food import bill is very high. And that will always happen because, of course, we are now very exposed to what is happening in the world, and sometimes we have a tendency to have foreign taste. And because we have foreign taste and because we are traveling and all of that, people would want to. And then shopping now is easier when you can shop on Amazon and purchase all kind of things, not only clothing now, but food stuff as well. So however you look at it, it will always be high because of the exposures and the ease with which we could do transactions internationally. But then, of course, we still have to try to encourage our own local production and even our own local manufacturing, and agriculture, of course, plays a significant role in that regard. So we have been trying to make our own dent here in Tobago, and in that regard, we have been providing support to the private sector and the agricultural sector. And so what we have been doing is to ensure that we can create the access to the lands that we currently have, that is the lands that are owned by the THA. And so we have invested heavily. I think it has been over $140 million over the last 4 years in open up access roads so that our farmers can farm. And most importantly, to provide them with the land so that they also can increase the production. So one of the things that the Secretary of Agriculture, the Chief Secretary, as well has been doing is to give deeds to farmers who are well organized and who have shown that they have the capacity to plant. I think it's this week there will be over 100 acres of land given to several farmers, starting off with Belmont, where 22 farmers will receive over 80 acres of land. And of course, this is about us helping them with the incentives. This is about us holding their hands so that they can prepare themselves for what is to come. Because we want Tobagonians to be a part of all the opportunities that will be created. So when that hotel comes and the other hotels come to this island, we want them to be in a position to supply goods and to supply services so that they will not be left out. Because others will come Others will come, whether it be from international or even from Trinidad, to apply their trade here. But Tobagonians must not be left out. And so we are facilitating the process, as I have indicated. We are about ensuring that we create the environment in which our businessmen or agriculturists can thrive.
Excellent. So a few of the candidates that we've interviewed so far would have been mentioned that, on their walkabout, they encounter young people who say, I want an early morning walk. Right? And a lot of them have said that.
Right.
Which I find interesting. I suppose they would have their reasons for that. But what would you say to these young people? And what are some of the alternatives that the THA under your leadership would offer?
Well, the thing is, everyone is not really cut from the same cloth, and we have to recognize that. But more than that, what I've recognized is that early morning work is gold in Tobago. Because when you finish at a particular time, whether it be 8 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning, I don't know what exactly some of the times are, right, it frees you up to do other things. So for the women, It frees them up to take care of the children so that they can go off to school in a timely manner, cook, prepare, that kind of thing, for when those school-age children return home. For the men, it frees them up to take up other jobs. So whether it be masonry, whether it be for those fishermen who have to go out to sea, they use those kinds of opportunities to take up other opportunities, other jobs throughout the day. The only challenge is that I think they have to recognize that we are not in a position to employ all of Tobago in that category of work. And so if it is that opportunities will be created, as we are saying that they will be created, they also have to look at where those opportunities are and try to be prepared to capitalize on those opportunities. There will be opportunities opening in the tourism sector at the level of management and even at maybe the other various levels. So it's how they change their mindset, so to speak, and how they prepare to access those jobs as well outside of the daily paid jobs, outside of the jobs that we consider to be gold. And then one of the things I've also recognized as well is that most persons in Tobago are very focused on security of tenure, and having a government job gives them that security of tenure as well. But it also gives them an opportunity, a time during the day to take up other meaningful jobs as well.
Nice. What kind of leadership style can the Executive Council expect under the leadership of Tracy Davidson Celeste?
I have a tendency to manage by objectives, right? And so for me is being clear on what we want to achieve. And so those objectives will be set out on a year-to-year basis, and people will be assessed ever so often in terms of how we are working together as a team to achieve those objectives going forward. Chaos is not something that I embrace. For me, it has to be a planned approach to achieving those things that we have said that we will achieve, and working with a plan of action to achieving those objectives. I am a hard worker, and so I will push all the members around the table to work as hard or even as harder than I work. And so in order to do that and in order to measure their performance, I will ensure that they are managed by objectives and basically that they are called to account, not so much so only in terms of the projects and the programs that we want to roll out, but also in terms of their work and their representation in the electoral district as well.
Excellent. So there's an old saying, prescription without diagnosis is malpractice.
Yes, I like that.
So how much would you say the programs, the plans and the programs of the THA going forward involves consultation with the people of Tobago? Because I've heard some PDP persons who call in the radio station say, I don't know if the PNM dropped the ball in the last 4 years and so on, and then talking to the people. How much consultation would you say would take place in terms of, well, we've spoken with the people based on our walkout and so on, we've heard what they've said, this is what they want, and we are going to incorporate that in our plans going forward?
Well, the thing is, we are always in consultation with our people. As a matter of fact, our manifesto that is on the table now and that is being articulated to the people of Tobago is as a result of what persons have said to us when we walk our electoral district, or even when we interact with them on public days or walk to the market or through the length and breadth of the island. One of the things that would always come to us is we need more jobs, and hence the reason why my first priority going forward is to ensure that we create employment opportunities. And I've said it, that my focus over the next 4 years is to at least create 3,000 jobs. And then, of course, there are things having to do with infrastructure. I spoke about a drainage unit within the Division of Infrastructure, Quarries and the Environment to ensure that we can treat with those drainage issues that are very present on the island, especially in the low-lying areas. Even in my electoral district, when I walk about, everyone will complain not so much about employment, but about drainage issues. So the point I'm making here is that what we are talking about is what the people have articulated to us in terms of what are their needs, what are their concerns at this point in time, and we are about providing solutions and, of course, taking into consideration what they have said. But I just want to touch back on the point that you made, that prescription without
diagnosis.
Without diagnosis.
This is malpractice, yes.
It's malpractice. And the thing is, because we have been in the assembly for some time, we understand what is required to take the assembly forward. We understand how we are to treat with those issues that will come to us. And so we are in the best position to prescribe. What about those who on the other side who have, in many instances, have no experience and have never worked in the assembly? They are really not in a position to prescribe because, as you rightfully said, if they don't understand the workings of the THA, they will really misdiagnose. So when we speak from a position of knowing what is happening, and we speak from the position of coming up with the solutions based on what we have heard from the THA and based on our understanding of the residents in the community.
Excellent. As you mentioned, speaking from a position of knowing, right? That was the impression that Mr. Watson Duke and Mr. Farley Augustine would have given earlier on this year with respect to this whole zipline issue. Right? They presented a case as if this is what it is. Farley said, from just a cursory view, I could say that this should go to the police and so on. Yet when the Auditor General wanted to come to Tobago, Watson Duke told her, shut your mouth. I will shut down the Auditor General's department and I'll make your life a living hell. Now, I would have thought that if what you're telling the people is true, then you would want the author of the report to come and corroborate what you're saying. Yes. Right? But I see now that the THA plans to take legal action against the company that was awarded the contract so that you can recover the money and so on that was spent. So tell us a little bit about how that is progressing.
Well, let me say that one of the things that the PDP does, and of course they're reading from the UNC playbook, is the campaign on the basis of lies and hate and victimization. And so when you listen to Farley in the last election, you recognize that Farley doesn't have a clue about how the Tobago House of Assembly is run, and more so about how the different arms of the Tobago House of Assembly is run. And so he was all about waving that he had evidence that I, Tracy Davidson Celestine, former Secretary of Tourism, was involved in some kind of corrupt activity. And as a matter of fact, I have given him the opportunity since I think it was January to submit the information to the police, and that has not yet happened. And so I have initiated legal action against Farley. Well, he was all over the place indicating that he has courthouse closed. But for me, it's not having courthouse closed, but it's having evidence, right, to present to the court. And the strange thing is, he was supposed to have filed his defense by November 15th, which was about 2 weeks ago. And he is now begging for additional time. A further 12 weeks or so, and I've said to my lawyer, no, that I'm not prepared to do that. I am not prepared to extend it beyond 1 month because he, in fact, had about 8 months to submit his information to the court. But the point of the matter is, this zipline Auditor General management letter is all based on lies that Farley would have piloted to the people of Tobago to, of course, try to create an impression about my work and my leadership in the Tobago House of Assembly in the time that I was there, but anyone who knows me would know how I operate, how meticulous I am, and more so how focused I am on ensuring that projects can be churned out for the benefit of the people of Tobago and not for my benefit. The focus is never on me, but me wanting to ensure that I can have the programs, the plans, the policies that will impact the people of Tobago. And so he will be taken to court for lying blatantly to the public and for defamation. And I await his submission of his defense, because if, of course, it's not submitted by the time that we have given to him in terms of the extension, we, of course, would be moving forward to treat with that particular issue. And I hope that all of it will take place in the glaring view of the people of Tobago so that they understand what kind of individual that this gentleman is who wants to become leader and chief secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly. Yes, I know that the Division of Tourism and Transportation is treating with the matter in a particular way. I think they have gotten legal advice and will be moving forward to treat with that particular issue. I just want to say that the intent, or rather, that project would have gone through all of the proper stages that any project is to go through, starting off in the first instance with a proposal. The proposal usually comes from the members of staff indicating to the administrator that we want this particular project to take place because it can, of course, treat with sites, the development of sites and attractions in a particular way. The administrator views it, sends it to the secretary signs off to the Executive Council. The Executive Council is a body of 9 secretaries that will interrogate the plan of action that is in front of them and will then give approval for the project and for a particular process to be followed. In that document, which is the Executive Council note, it indicates that the project is approved, how much it would cost, and how it is to be tendered, which is by an arm of the Tobago House of Assembly that is not connected with the Division of Tourism and Transportation. And so the point I'm making, the procurement and everything was done, reports sent back to the division, and the contracts and everything were drawn up, and discussions and implementation was supposed to have taken place. The thing is that although the approval was granted in December, I think, of 2014, that project really never started until, or the conversations really never started until about January, that would have been June 2015. So the point is the approval could come, but it will take time because you have to do consultation, you have to do assessment, you have to do quite a number of different things. I recall there were some discussions with Environmental Tobago to find out whether the project would be obtrusive to the environment. Those discussions took time. After those discussions, they had to review some of the drawings. So even though it started then, it took some time because of the nature of the project and what was involved. We're talking about ensuring that nothing would affect the environment. And then, of course, there are safety concerns. You have to ensure that you dot all of the I's and cross the T's. And so by the time the equipment were bought and were ready to be shipped, there was some delay in the start of the project and in terms of the approval process, but there is nothing untoward in terms of any secretary, me or anybody in the division, having or being directly involved in any corrupt activities with that project. And so that was placed on the table. Farley heard of it because I spoke about it, but he still moved forward to lie to the people of Tobago in terms of corrupt activities. And that is because Farley doesn't even know the difference between an executive council note. He doesn't understand what is a management letter, and he does not understand what is an auditor general report. A management letter is basically a document from the office of the auditor that says, we looked at this particular thing that you have listed here in your budget, but we need more information. By the time the final document came out, which was the Auditor General report, there was no issue whatsoever. with the zipline project? None. It means to me, and all of Tobago who understands how these things operate, is that they were satisfied that all of the procedures identified by the Executive Council were in place. The funding was in place. There were the correct approvals from the administrator right down to the secretary, everybody, and that the procurement also took place, and that they were comfortable based on what they would have seen that monies were paid to the contractor. So who is Farley, who has never yet worked in the Tobago House of Assembly, not even at that level, to tell the people that it is not so?
Kamala Persad-Bissessa's tenure as Prime Minister unfortunately left a bitter taste in the mouth of many people with respect to female leadership. They're staying that, so some people are saying, we don't want another female. Do you think that is going to play on the psyche of some people in terms of Casey Davids and Celeste leaving the THA?
Well, I am definitely not Kamala, and I'm not surrounded by the same kind of people that Kamala was surrounded by. Full stop.
Excellent. So, well, as we're on that point, let's talk a little bit about being a female politician and a female leader. Do you think it's harder for female politicians than your male counterparts?
Well, the thing is, I have a tendency to not look at it in terms of gender. I more look at it in terms of capacity and capabilities and even experience. And then, of course, I focus on what is to be done, what is to be delivered, and an understanding of what the people, an understanding of what the issues and what people want. But yes, to answer your question, it is more difficult for a female leader because, especially in the context of Tobago, we have never had female leaders. It has always been the chairman of the Tobago House of Assembly, which have largely been males. And then when we changed to chief secretary as the position, it has also been males as well. So this is something that is new for the people of Tobago. Yes, they might be somewhat suspicious, and there would be people who would interrogate what is being said, who would interrogate your past and even your performance more so than they would do for a male. But at the same time, women leaders have done very well. Look at how people like Merkel has done in Germany. Look at how Mia Mottley is doing well in Barbados. So the point I'm making is that there are reference points outside of Trinidad that you can look to find evidence of where leaders have performed very creditably. And I, as the first female chief secretary, would ensure that I work with and on behalf of the people, and that I implement those things that I say that I will implement. I come with quite a lot of experience in this process. I come with quite a lot of understanding of how the Tobago House of Assembly operates, and I know what are in the desires and the hearts and minds of the people of Tobago. And then I have a close working relationship with the central government, which would, of course, augur well for what we want to do going forward. In all my years in the Assembly, I've delivered for the people of Tobago. In my work as an assistant secretary, as a matter of fact, the first swimming pool that was built in Tobago was when I was the assistant secretary. That swimming pool is now in Corland. The first set of lights on playing field is as a result of my work in the Division of Youth Affairs and Sport, being responsible for the Division of Education, Youth Affairs and Sport, being responsible at the time for Youth Affairs and Sport. A lot of playing facilities, Lambeau Recreation Ground, the Patience Hill Art Court, they were built when under my leadership as the Assistant Secretary. If you were to move over to the Division of Community Development and Culture, in my 4 years, we built 8 community centers, and I could list them out. We had Betsy Soap, Speyside, Palataville, Lowlands, John Dial, etc., etc. It is just that in some instances, I was transferred to another division after the election, so my name was not carved on the wall, but all of them were built in my tenure from 2009, I think it was, to 2013. And I performed very well in the Division of Tourism and Transportation. As a matter of fact, when I went in, cruise passengers to the destination was in the vicinity of about 22,000. And when I left, it was in the vicinity of about 100,000. And we got quite a number of flights to return, even flights from Scandinavia, etc. The point I'm making, I don't boast, but I just want Tobago, all of Tobago, to understand that I'm a hard worker. I'm one who is very driven, very motivated, and most importantly, all of the plans and programs that I have implemented over my years as secretary or assistant secretary has benefited the people of Tobago immensely.
Excellent. One of the promises of the PDP is $10 million for each of the 15 districts. And if I recall correctly, that comes right out of the playbook of the UNC, because during their tenure, People's Partnership, they had promised $10 million, a constituency fund. The PDP, there has been no details coming out as to exactly where this money is going to come from, how this constituency fund is going to work, how the money is going to be spent, to whom is going to be given. We've already heard Mr. Duke say that there will be no justice for those people with the big red flags. So let's say on the off chance that they win, what is going to happen to the districts that are won by the PNM with respect to this? Does it show a lack of understanding on the part of the leadership of the PDP as to how budgeting works? Because obviously this money that they plan to take would have been earmarked to do other things. So to come now and say that you're going to do that with a lack of detail, to my mind, it just opens up the door to any amount of a ball. So how would you speak?
Well, the thing is, I really don't understand how it will work either, for this reason. Yesterday, I think I was going to a meeting and I heard the deputy political leader of the PDP, which would be Dr. Faith, talk about this constituency fund in glowing terms, and all constituencies should be treated fairly, right? And equally. But that is a flaw. Because $10 million is not a lot of money if it is that you have to develop the electoral districts. And if all electoral districts are to be treated in the same manner, we are going to have challenges going forward. Because when you look at the landscape, some electoral districts are less developed than others. And it would mean that you would have to treat them differently if you are to bring them up to the same level as other electoral districts. Putting aside 10 million, let's look at instance for the retaining wall construction program that we currently have. There are some walls that exceed $10 million. So are you telling the people of Tobago that after we have built one wall, that there would be no other development in your electoral district for that year or for the 4 years? Let's look at the community of Buku, where it is the home for sport in terms of goat race and crab race and all of that. The investment that was made in that electoral district, I think about 4 or 5 years ago, was in the vicinity of about $200 million, because we built a lovely facility that could easily be the place where they would do quite a lot of sporting activities. We had put in road infrastructure in there. We built a community center coming up to $200 million. So are they saying that in every instance under their administration, they would only spend $10 million as a constituency fund? What when the communities want other infrastructure facilities? The construction of the community center in Charlottesville at this point is about $11 to $12 million. And that comes on the heels of a mini mall project that was recently opened, which is a further $12 million. So in one sitting, we have spent over $30 million, or intend to spend over $30 million within a 4-year period in Charlottesville. And of course, that doesn't take into consideration the works that will come to the upgrade of the jetty and the playing field and all of that. The point I am making is that what they are talking about a $10 million make absolutely no sense. The kind of infrastructure investment that is needed in some of these electoral districts to bring them to the standard that the people would want to see cannot be quantified or cannot be limited rather to a $10 million investment constituency fund. In order to move services up to Tobago East and in Roxborough, the administrative complex costed us $60.2 million. So when the PUNC and the PDP tell you that they will invest $10 million in the electoral district, you should be very concerned and very worried, because that is telling all of us that after that 10 million is done, there is no other development that will be taking place in that electoral district. But under the People's National Movement administration, we are not limiting or confining the level of investment that we make in every electoral district. As a matter of fact, we are looking at it, or investment, based on the demand and based on the needs from the community. And so when you listen to our candidates on the platform, let us say the last meeting we had was down near Marcel's meeting in Bethel, he has a plan of action that he would want to see implemented over the next 4 years. When you quantify his plan of action, it might be in the vicinity of 40 to 50 million. Should I, as a chief secretary, leading the executive council, indicate to Downey that he can only access $10 million under my administration? That makes absolutely no sense. To construct a playing field in Golden Lane for candidate Brian Thomas and for his people may cost in the vicinity of about $12 million, because we have to purchase the land and we have to develop the land. But at the end of the day, we are focused on ensuring that we put the required investment in place to treat with the needs and the demands. So to say to the people $10 million is what we will invest, of course, if I am a resident of an electoral district, I would run from that plan of action.
Yes. Now, Mr. Duke loves to do Facebook Lives. I've seen him do quite a few. We're going from beach to beach saying that we fixed this and this needs to fix. One thing I've not seen Mr. Duke talk about in any of his lives is the work that he has done in his district for the past 5 years. I've not seen Farley either. I have no clue what they have done. So,
Well,
have they approached the executive council to do anything of significance in their districts in the past 5 years?
Well, the thing is, they have a tendency. they have a tendency. Well, the point of the matter is they really can't see that they have done anything within the electoral district, because representation is not solely about being in office. When I say in office, taking up secretarial positions. Let us look at our candidate on this side, Kelvon Morris, who operates in the electoral district of, well, it was then Darrell Spring Garden. Do I have that right? Can't recall. But the point is, he has not sit in the executive council, but he has been very active in the electoral district, working with the private sector, looking to see what kind of support he can get in order to represent his people. We have not seen that in the PDP-held electoral districts, and so they look for every excuse to not represent, because their focus is solely on position, being Secretary of Finance, being Chief Secretary, being Secretary of Health. And so they have not looked at ways and means in which they can collaborate with the private sector to get things done, and more so how they can petition the current secretaries of the assembly to treat with things in their electoral district. Let us look at this food card thing that they are talking about. How many food card forms did the Farley put in? How many did Watson put in? How many did Faith put in? I am sure if we were to do the calculation, you would recognize that they have hardly put in anything. I recall when I had just gone into the Division of Health, Wellness and Family Development, I took up the responsibility for that division. And of course, we had to treat with the social needs, vulnerable needs, persons who were sent home. It was a shock, that kind of thing, dealing with the effects of COVID-19, etc. And in my office, I was called to Speyside to treat with a particular issue. That is Farley's electoral district. The people of Blue Waters Inn were sent home. They needed food support. They needed quite a number of things. And I had to step in as the secretary. Where was Farley at that point in time? So they're on Facebook talking about all kind of things. We also have to ask ourselves the question, when last did they walk that electoral district asking the people for their support? And all you see is them going in 2 or 3 days before the election, buying up drinks and stag and all kind of things in order to get the people to come out to support. But I'm hoping that the people could see through that and recognize that the PNM representatives have been there helping them with or without being in office. Look at the kind of development that is in Roxborough at this point in time. Yes, Watson would try to fool the people to indicate that it's because of his representation. It had nothing to do with it, with him. We recognize that we have to develop Tobago East just as we have been doing with Tobago West. We have to bring the two areas up to the same kind of quality of life in terms of services, etc. And we made the investment in the people. We have health center, hospital, fire station. We have an administrative complex. It had absolutely nothing. I am sure if I was to ask the Secretary of the Secretary of Infrastructure, how many letters have you received from those representatives about road repairs, fixing a pothole? He would tell me none. But our Tobago East representative, she writes all of the time. I receive the letters and we try to assist. That is because she is present in the electoral district. She is present in her constituency and she is working with the Tobago House of Assembly. But you don't get that from the PDP representatives. And more so, they're telling people now that they have never been in office, so they are not in a position to treat with the issues, but they had an opportunity to sit where the decisions are made. Coming out from the 6-6, we thought about an amalgamation. Remember that in the constitution of the People's National Movement, we have always said that we're not going down that road. But the council executive of the PNM said, because it is a 6-6 arrangement, let us give consideration to it. And we agreed that we will work with them. We will have our 6 and they will have their 6, and we will try to have some secretaries and assistant secretaries on both sides, and they would hold respective divisions eventually. And they pulled it off the table. So they too had an opportunity to sit, to be secretaries and assistant secretaries, to get their roads fixed for their constituents, to get food support for their constituents, to be in a position where they could treat from the administrative arm with issues that they have. But they're fooling the people, because for them, it was not about people before politics, but position before the people. So they were fighting for Secretary of Finance and fighting for Secretary of this and fighting for all kind of different positions, as opposed to focusing on how they could improve the service level for their electoral district residents. And so when I tell you that they're campaigning on the basis of hate and lies and victimization, I have evidence of that, and I know of what I speak.
Now, one of the glaring things about the PDP, and I've made this point before, is that the executive does not seem to have respect for structure. So I've made the point, they don't have a national executive, there's no treasurer, there's no general secretary, all of these things that are critical to any established political party. So if they don't have respect for structure within their own internal workings, how can they be expected to have respect for the workings of the THAs? It's just anything goes, right?
Well, I really hope that the people of Tobago are hearing that question. And I'm also hoping that if you have observed that they too are observing that they are anti-institution. And so they're about breaking down all the different layers of transparency and accountability that exist in any organization in order to further their own personal agendas. And this is what it's all about. And you see it in the operations of the PSA. When you look at the Auditor General report, what that Auditor General report is saying, which was of course reported in The Guardian, is that there is no layer of accountability within the PSA. Everything is done by the president and his team. They are the chief cook and bottle washers. That does not now happen in the Tobago House of Assembly. And my fear, right? My fear is that if they get there on December 7th, we could have the same kind of arrangement. When you have a man who is a president walking through the streets of Port of Spain with millions of dollars on his back, and you want to put that same individual in the Tobago House of Assembly, I don't know that I should continue the rest of that. I want the people of Tobago to imagine the possibilities with an administration that is anti-institution and one which has no respect for man, woman, and child. They have no respect whatsoever for transparency and even accountability and for the central government. And so if it's chaos they want, come the 7th of December, it's chaos they would get.
So true. Mr. Celestin, well, we're almost at a wrap. So I will give you how time flies when you're having fun, eh?
Yes, so true.
So I will give you the opportunity of the last word. So let's say this is the night of December 5th and you are speaking to the people of Tobago for that one last opportunity. Give them that message.
All I would say to them is thank you, Tobago, for the support. There will be new and exciting times under my leadership and under the People's National Movement administration. And the point is, we have been demonstrating that throughout the campaign. We have new and exciting plans that are backed by fact, and most importantly, plans that are backed by funding. I want the people of Tobago to understand that the programs, plan and policy position of the PNM administration doesn't necessarily have to be the same under a PDP or a UNC administration in Tobago. We are focused on ensuring that we have social initiatives that could help the vulnerable people or single women out there. The amount of them that would call to me on a regular basis, message me, whether it be on WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger, talking about the level of hardship. I encourage you to come out to support the People's National Movement because we have a plan of programs for you. We're talking about 2 free kids at daycare centers that would free up financial resources so that you can go on to do other meaningful things, whether it be study, etc. We're catering for the farmers. We're catering for the businessmen. We're catering to upgrade and improve Scarborough. Quite a lot of exciting things. 3,000 jobs, 2,000 lots of land to be developed over the next 4 years. And the point of the matter is we have started putting things in place so that when we say we are going to do this, it is because we know that we can get it done. So to the people of Tobago at this time, vote for a party that has your best interests at heart and vote for Tracy Davidson Celestine and her team so that we can take Tobago to a new and exciting level. The PNM has set the foundation over the last 20 years, and we are now bent on ensuring that we could build the house so that all of us could be in good stead.
Excellent. Well, let me just steal 1 more minute. Just tell me quickly, what are the characteristics that the screening committee looks for in its candidates?
Winnability is what we look for. Remember that political parties are set up to win elections, and then to go forward to service its people and to manage an island. And so the first step in all of that is finding candidates who can win their electoral district. So that is what we look for. It's not so much about degrees and all of that, because people can be trained. If you look at leadership models, they tell you that people can be trained. And we try to always ensure that we train all of our candidates, whether it be in public speaking, and then when they win and get into the administration, that we train them as well. So it's not so much about having PhDs or masters or whatever it is, but integrity, commitment, passion, and that you understand what the needs are of the people in the electoral district and would go on to win and represent them.
Right. And in that case, you don't need a social contract for them to sign.
No, we don't need a social contract. We are already sworn in by the highest officer of the land, which is the president, and we have an oath of office that we take, which speaks to you representing people, honesty, integrity, those kind of things. So we are not mamagaing anybody with a social contract.
Mrs. Davidson Celestin, thank you very much for joining us this morning. It was a very
thank you very much for having me.
So
Yes.
do enjoy the rest of the campaign. We look forward to hearing your nightly contributions.
Thank you.
And we also look forward to the night of December 6th when all will say in unison, great is the PNM and we
Great
have
is the PNM. All right, have a good one.
You too. Back to you, Bruce.
Take care.
Yes.
So we go for a break now, guys, and we'll be right back.
We got this. I cannot wait for election morning. Tell them why. Tell them why. I depend down to me elbow, darling. Yeah. So right now, let me fix up. Come on, now let me link up. Bring a friend, let me build up. Till to make up as one. From the country that love, the PNM is the way that we love. Provide representation. Like, hey, we got this. We got this. We got this. PNM. We got this. We got this. We got this. Whoa, 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 yeah.
December 6th, take no chance. Protect your future. Vote PNM. Great is the PNM.
Simpsons Memorial Limited, number 63 Eastern Main Road, Laventille. Internationally accredited funeral directors and embalmers. A full-service funeral home serving families of Trinidad and Tobago and internationally since 1945. At Simpsons Memorial Limited, we serve with dignity in assisting families and honoring the memory of their loved ones. Our services include professional funeral and pre-planning, burials and cremation, custom-built and imported caskets, coffins and cremation trays, cemetery management, limousines, mourners cars, grief counseling, web streaming of funerals, fully air-conditioned chapel with live musical accompaniment, full global shipping and receiving of loved ones. We specialize in facial restorations. Call us anytime, day or night, at 623-8688. That number again is 623-8688. Simpsons Memorial Limited. Superior service, always with excellence.
Take me to the king. I don't have much to bring. Welcome the Christmas holidays this year with quality and attractive furniture from Stylist Furniture Limited. 2 locations, 51 Rushwood Street, San Fernando, and 101 Crackness Village in Princestown. Select from a wide range of contemporary furniture to enhance your homes. Now open on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call today, 652-2542. Season's greetings to all our customers and friends from Stylist Furniture Limited. Stylist Furniture Limited. For the style in you.
Something extraordinarily exciting is happening all over the country. The Multiplier X Effect.
NLCB Scratch players have been extremely ecstatic as they can maximize their winnings up to 17.5 million in cash with the new Multiplier Trio of Games.
Okay. For just $10, $20, and $50, play the trio of 10X, 20X, and 50X games for a chance to win your way to 17.5 million in cash and up to 45 chances to win.
The new Multiplier Trio. Play all 3 and multiply the excitement today.
Players must be 18 years and older. Please play responsibly.
Hey, hush him out now, boy.
Why you rush?
Is everything okay with Kyle?
Yeah, it's just his bad knee acting up again.
Hey, Kyle. Ooh, sounds like your knee is a royal pain in the ass. I fixed my knee and eliminated my joint pain using Himalaya Joint Care and Turmeric.
Of course. Himalaya Joint Care and Turmeric.
Joint Care and Turmeric from Himalaya, providing clinically studied supplements for over 85 years. Himalaya since 1930.
What is Apex? It is the pinnacle of high-performance vision through a lens. It's clarity, no matter what angle you look at. It's comfort, no matter what you do all day, every day. And it's customized with every digital measurement your eyes require to see at their very best. Apex Digital Lenses by Value Optical, the ultimate lens design for your eyes. Value Optical, expert care for your eyes.
Dr. Livette. Join him right here on your radio every Friday afternoon from 5:05 p.m. to 5:35 p.m. for your dose of the health and wellness in a program that is sure to change your life. Popular for promoting Livette rather than diet, Dr. Livette has transformed a number of lives nationwide and is now live on the Street 919 FM every Friday from 5:05 p.m. Tune in and also learn about the U-Juice to build your immunities and promote overall great health. Dr. Livette on the Street 919 FM this and every Friday from 5:05 p.m. to 5:35 p.m. It's time that you live.
Police, good day. Officer Best Price here. Johnny Q Auto Parts Division? Yes, sir. I'm here to investigate an assault on batteries. Excuse me, sir? Is it true? You have batteries selling for $488? Yes. Power Master, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries. So I could buy a battery for $488? Yes, sir. For cars, trucks, and boats. Backed and distributed by Massey Automotive. Which part? Right here at Johnny Q Hardware and Auto Parts Division, 15 Arrowbita Avenue, Woodbrook. And our new Johnny Q Superstore, located at Lowlands Mall off Claude Noel Highway in Tobago. You could call 60 Tools. Alright, thanks, boss. Nah, man. Granny, do you have $488 to lend, man?
After all the talk during the week, don't switch off on the weekend and keep it on the street. It's classic soca and classic kaiso when you're liming with the live wire on Saturdays from 5 to 7 p.m. only on the Street 919 FM.
Turn your lights down low and listen to the Master's Radio.
The Church of the Firstborn Assembly of number 399 Eastern Main Road, Waiko Sangre Grande, is pleased to present Pastors Morris and Agnes Johnson and guests. Sundays, Tuesdays, and Friday night, Sunday Ministry of Worship, Children Hour, and the Word from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. Tuesdays, see Jesus in every book of the Bible from Genesis to Revelation from 9 p.m. and Friday night, 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. all night prayer for our nation. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. For further information, visit with us at www.churchofthefirstbornassembly.org or on Facebook. Email us at church668hope@gmail.com or call us at 753-1113 or 236-7271. Your free gifts and offerings will be greatly appreciated at Church of the Firstborn Assembly, account number 795222 at the First Citizens Bank.
Get in touch with God. Turn your radio on.
This is the Street 919 FM COVID-19 updates. In case you missed it, the latest COVID positive cases in TNT as of November 22nd, 2021 stands at new positive cases 404, total active cases 8,695, total recovered patients 55,621. Total positive cases for COVID-19 as of March 2020 to present, 66,293. Follow the Ministry of Health COVID-19 protocols. Wear your mask, sanitize, social distance, and avoid gatherings. A message from the Street 919 FM.
The Street 91.9 FM brings you today's tips to improve your financial literacy. Improving your financial literacy is a never-ending endeavor that needs to be prioritized. As you work on improving your financial literacy, it's important to continue your momentum. Here are your tips. Pay attention to your fees. Understanding the fee structure and the amount you have been paying on a monthly or even annual basis in regards to fees associated with financial services is extremely important. Account service fees, annual financial planning service fees, investment account management fees, you name it. If you haven't reviewed and audited your fees yet, I recommend that you sit down and make this a priority. That was your financial tip brought to you by The Street 91.9 FM.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
Baila! This Christmas I want mucho dinero. Mucho dinero. Let me go. That's around the table. That's all. Get up if you're able. Get up. That's around the table. That's all. Let me go. Let me go.
So welcome back. Just a bit of information for you. Tobagonians, it's the merriest time of the year. Christmas at Lowlands Mall, Tobago's #1 shopping and entertainment destination. This Saturday, November 27, come and enjoy the pianist Gerard Balfour, star vocalist Michelle Williams, and music by DJ Journey. And Sweet Parang from El Corazon de Parang, and it's all from 3 p.m. Also, big Christmas savings from most stores and sumptuous choices from the food court. Christmas is yours at Lowlands Mall. This Christmas, load up your sleigh with a home entertainment system from DirecTV. Simply purchase a prepaid kit, then activate and top up 30 days for your chance to win. Enter now and start dashing through the shows with DirecTV Prepaid. Promotion ends December 17th. Do you know your legal rights? Do you have burning legal questions you always wanted the answers for? Then let's talk legal. Join us right here on the Street 909 FM as we discuss legal information and administration at its finest. Every Monday from 11:15 a.m. to 11:45 a.m. and Thursdays from 10:05 a.m. to 10:35 a.m. as we discuss matters pertaining to you. Let's Talk Legal is brought to you by the L. Daniel and Associates Legal Administrative Firm. Let's Talk Legal, democratizing law, right here on the Street 909 FM every Monday from 11:15 a.m. and Thursday from 10:05 a.m. Dale Daniel and Associates are located on Taylor Street, Woodbrook. Our opening hours are from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Welcome to the Christmas holidays this year with quality and attractive furniture from Stylus Furniture Limited. Our two locations, 51 Rushwood Street, San Fernando, and 101 Cragnish Village in Princess Town. Select from a wide range of contemporary furniture to enhance your homes. Now open on Sundays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call today at 652-2542. Season's greetings to all our customers and friends from Stylus Furniture Limited. Stylus Furniture Limited, for the style in you. Value Optical wishes to advise the public that all 13 branches are open full-time to provide expert eye care services to you. All of our regular services are available. For your safety, we continue to practice established health and safety protocols and recommend that you make an appointment for all testing services. Please call us at 225-4865 or toll-free 800-2020 for all inquiries on opening hours, eye testing availability, and how we can assist your eye care needs. Value Optical, caring for your eyes. For all your hardware, building materials, auto parts, small tool rentals, pets and pet supplies, gravel and sand, don't forget PowerMaster, Optima, Vata, and Megastar batteries starting from $488. And it's all at Johnny Q, number 15 Arapita Avenue, Woodbrook, and our new Johnny Q Superstore in Lowlands Mall, Tobago, off Claude Noel Highway. Just call 63 Tools. So Dominic, welcome back.
When last you saw this?
Oh, good. We had one of that in the buffet, as they just say.
Yes, I remember growing up.
What? That is that you call dig out.
Yeah.
What, boy?
Untouched.
Hey. Dominic, only have some good souvenirs there, boy.
Yeah, boy. Could auction them take.
No. Right about now, that priceless, you know.
You know? I remember as a child growing up, that bottle was an ornament.
Yeah. Only that may be still in the buffet there, you know. I'll take a peep and see.
Yeah.
I feel that.
It's full?
I doubt that. I know that. Boy. Yeah. Well, let's see. We have a segment coming up at 8:35 a.m. I think that segment will close the show this morning.
Okay.
So we could probably, I guess, open the lines.
Yeah.
So guys, you can call us at 342-0081 and 466-5391. Caller, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Hi, morning, Bruce.
Morning, Jan. How you doing?
Hi, okay. Morning, Dominic.
Hi, Jenny.
Morning. Callers and listeners on 91.9. When I listen to Mrs. Davison Celestin, you get a sense of calm. She knows what she's about. She has this. Her plans for the THA is well thought out. It's not chaotic. And she likes order. You can see that. When you listen to Watson Solomon Duke, who we know is the leader of the PDP, there is chaos. There is a sense of mayhem and bacchanal. There is no clear plan, no direction for THA, no direction for the people of Tobago, more than simply to rile them up. He doesn't understand the words that he uses. He can't pronounce them. There is no connectivity. And as Mrs. Davison would have said, Celestin would have said, there is no adherence to institution, like it's anti-institution. And if you are against an institution, those things that help society together so that there is not chaos and mayhem, then if anything would go. And how could you rule in that kind of space where the leader themselves is anti-structure, anti-policy, anti-regulation? Then you'll have a society that will break down. So again, I'm telling people, when you listen to the two leaders speak, it's chalk and cheese. Tobago make the right choice. Sit down and think logically about what you're doing. And finally, before I go, Duke and them come like, when they go into school, Bruce, you just have some children who always behaving bad. They're always in trouble, bacchanal, confusion. The mother to come in the school, the mother getting all. And then you have another set of students who they will put their head down to their work because they understand the importance. The parents will come in the school to find out how they're going all that. And then when school finish after 5 years, whatever, you see them group and them who was laughing and having a good time. They have nothing to produce, nothing to show. They're still the same behaving. And you would have kept your head down, study your work. Stick to the plan, stick to the structure, you're able to come out now and give back positively to the society. That is what you have with the PDP and the PNM. PDP, laughers, jokers, nothing wrong, and PNM stable and always there to support. Thank you, Bruce, again for the opportunity. You all have a blessed one.
You too, take care. Caller, good morning.
Good morning to my brother, Bruce.
Hey, morning, Village. How are you doing?
I didn't know what Dominic. Morning. But I want to talk to Dominic this morning.
Yes, sir.
Dominic, if your car working good and nothing wrong with your car, would you go by a mechanic?
No.
So the people at the Tobago, if you have something working, why you want to change it? And that way we do it. Your car working good, and they're looking to go by the mechanic to change for that way the people, and especially those who support the PDP, is that way they intend to do so. So at Tobago, have a blessed day, and the people at Tobago, for God's sake, do the honorable thing. I'm gone.
Yeah, man.
Bruce, as he made that analogy, on Sunday and the program, I made reference to the example of what's happening in Tobago. It's like you're married for 21 years. And in the last 4 years, things are a little rough, with the relationship and whatnot and stuff. But rather than talk it out rather than seek counseling, rather than, try to sort out the business. You say, look, I want divorce. I fed up. I'm done. Right? But if you tell the man or tell the woman what the issues are and whatnot to see how you all could sort it out. Or you just mention anything and pass, you're throwing shade and whatnot, then it wouldn't fix. So, you will throw away 21 years of marriage just so. And then what? Because the man, two houses down the road, whispering sweet nothings in your ears. Tell your girl, that man ain't no way you have now, girl. Gosh, girl, I go treat you good. And everybody tell you, girl, that man ain't no good. He's a womanizer. You, if you go down there, your bunks ahead, Don't do that. But you need telling me all kind of nice things. Oh, God, watch now if you was my woman, I treat you, top of the line. And you want to hear nothing your husband had to say. You only thinking divorce because you want to go so. And you get divorced and then you go so now. And after about 2-3 months, you hear he want to hear with this one, that one, and the next one. Right? Treating you bad. You have no time for you. And then what? You said you're remembering what you had. When you're in good house, you know the rest.
Of course. Caller, good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. My financial guru, good morning. And the Sharon in good house, bad house is calling. Thank you. I tend to miss your program on a Sunday because I'm doing a little something for a friend of us. But
yes,
this lady this morning, I commend you on that interview. But I heard the opposition leader last night said to us, she wrote to some parliamentary people somewhere and read out a letter that they sent back to her, stating all the things and ills and, how they call it, our democracy is in trouble. But she didn't read to us the letter that she wrote to them, what that said, that they went to with right back this damning letter. Citizens listening, in order for somebody to write back a damning letter on the administration, that means the person who wrote the letter to get a reply, their information was to be skewed.
Yes.
Right, but she ain't reading hers. She reading what was replied. In order to get this reply, you have to send something damning. Trindigonians, all you wake up, I just saw my boy, I don't know if my Bataria man, I don't know if, anyhow, let me leave it. My boy from Bataria, and the lady was supposed to get married in a protest. And the police stopped them and tell them, hey, they can't have this protest. And Mr. Man get on his microphone and telling the police to have a peaceful march. And the police lady was quite in line to tell them, hey, we don't want to hear that no peaceful march and thing. We said to you to disperse Trindigonians. And here they bought no property tax. Wasn't Larry Hawaii telling us that they're going to pay the property tax if they win the election? Now the same people had intention of paying their property tax under the UNC administration, and we had more money then. There was no pandemic then. People, will you wake up, please? Black people, Tobagonians, check yourself, please. Gentlemen, enjoy it.
Yeah, man. Caller, good morning.
Morning, Bruce.
Hey,
morning, Dominic.
Morning, Mano.
Yeah. But let me tell I want to tell the Tobagonians something. No, I'm not hearing no point, but I'm talking. I know some place might be hearing it. Right. So I want to tell the Tobagonians something. Just forget about anybody who come in to interfere with your business, who have no interest in you, but have interest in your country and your land and things. Have no. You have a fellow who run a television station. Don't allow him to, if he's sharing money, or they take it. Take it. All who come and Prado and all that things, wherever they're sharing, or you take it and kick them out. Nobody lives there. Nobody lives there. You know nothing about Tobago. You're jumping in the dance and you're dancing left to right foot and left to right foot and thing. It is so. Tobagonians, all you cut all your cards straight if all you want that proper Tobago within the next 10, 20, 30 and for the rest. These people have no interest in Tobago, you know. All they want is Tobago to get independence and so they go control certain things. Anyhow, Bruce, and all you again at this sort of thing. So I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, man. Yeah, man. So, guys, you can call us up 342-008-14663-91. Those are the numbers to call to get in with us on the inside. Caller, good morning.
Yes, good morning to my brother Bruce.
Morning, morning.
Good morning to my brother Dominic.
Hey, Andrew, morning.
Yes, I listen very attentively, and I have a message for Tobagonian. You have a building to build. A man carry on showed the work that he has done. And next man did not carry because he have no recommendation. He did no work nowhere. That people will see it and know that he could afford to do the job. And who will you give that contract to? Because they hate the man who working very good. You just have a hatred for him. Will you give it to the man who show you no recommendation? And after they put the material, they put the money in his hand. And after the building crash, the building built all how? What will you do now? We have to spend money to carry him to court. Understand? Come on the street and fight him. Only be careful. Be careful. Men being gifts. A prophet has to know the word of God. The word of God. And here in the last night I was in, a man called himself a pastor on the TV, and he's telling me Tobagonian to rally around Rotten Duke. That he said he's a man of God. The Bible called them false prophets. It is written there. Many are called in my name, and they will deceive you. The Bible tells that man on the pulpit with Rotten Duke, he is deceiving the people. You can't say a man has so much allegation against his name, and you will tell the people to rally around that man. Righteousness is what exalts the nation, but sin is a reproach to anybody, any people. Let them follow that so-called pastor and vote for what's due, and they will see the ending up of Tobagonian. They're too comfortable now. Father House making them sign, Jupa making them sign, go across in the Jupa. Then a doctor already do. Tobagonian never had boat. They never used to rent boat. The man give you a boat, he give you a fire station, give police station. What do they want? What do they want? God never make the world in one day. You cannot get everything in one day. And big old people here saying they want to change, you know. What change you want? What change you want? Say the change. Let them tell you what change they're bringing for you. They use the word change. And that's how they get tired. Change, I don't get tired with Kanga too. When they change from Manning, and Manning was working so very good. Very, very good. When Manning dead and gone now, everybody was working good. Only be careful, I have plenty of family in Tobago. Have a blessed morning.
Thank you. Caller, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning.
I'm calling there from Tobago.
Welcome.
I really call you and say that Miss Davis and Celestine talking cool, calm, and like she collective. So that is Delilah. We have been with her for 21 years, and we know what she gives. She just want to get into that power, get back into that power. See, this is Tobago, man, over the years. So we're going different. We're going to the change.
Okay, caller. Caller, good morning.
Good morning to everybody.
Morning.
Let's be frank and let's be real. These people and them in the UNC, all they're concerned about in Tobago is land. So they're using the slow masses to get what they want. These people are concerned about land. Once they divide Tobago from Trinidad, they could use their access to go across there and do their business. That being open eyes and see what's taking place. It's land that people are concerned about. They're concerned about economical power and business. They don't care about country. Them using these people and then, all right. They tried in Trinidad in 2010 because of one man named Jack Austin Warner. And Jack Warner put these people there, because they use here and take all the money. And then after when the money finish, they spit them out like a plum. These people don't really care about us, and they will keep on fighting for whatever they want. They don't care about the black man. All them concerned about is power and money. If I find out wrong, or they tell me, you know. But people are concerned about this land. It's land they want. These people know Tobago is a gold mine, is a paradise, is a heaven. So we don't want it. We don't want it. We rather throw it away because I hate. And the man who the Prime Minister trying to Tobago is a Tobagonian. No one is telling me. These people are blind. So they see what's taking place. Tobago people have to wake up and fight for your own. Tobago people have to open their eyes. These people concerned about is land and power. Tobago people wake up. These people don't like you. Good morning.
Thank you, caller. So we have time for probably just a few more calls. Caller, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Bruce Wayne. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, my brother. How are you doing?
I stay humble and quiet listening to you.
Nice.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Dominic.
And to you too, sir.
I hear you bringing back about 4 ham boys.
What's in that room in the suitcase?
You laugh at me?
What's in that room in the suitcase?
Nice. And Mr. Bruce.
Oi.
You know, Dominic singing more clear like if in the studio with you there. How you outside there? Yeah. When you home here, after a second or 2 seconds, then you just hear him. You hear him playing right now.
Nice.
So Dominic, boy, enjoy the best. Take care of yourself until we see you and see you again. Never bit, brother?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and let me say good morning to Miss Stacy Davison for such a program this morning. Thank you, Dominic. Because we don't want nobody with no running about the street again with money on back. Yeah, so we want good leaders to lead we where we want to go. So thanks again, Miss Stacy. Thanks, Dominic. Thanks, Bruce. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, Mr. and Felix. So all the take care, all the blessings, and we will hear soon again. Bless.
Yes, my brother. Bless up.
Thanks again, man.
Caller, good morning.
Yes, brother Bruce and brother Dominic. I don't come back in. After that fella talk there just now, we going different. That come like when they were to crucify Christ. They say, who to crucify? Christ or Barabbas? Everybody say, give us Barabbas and crucify Christ. That is what he is saying. And what he says, when he says, we are going to find who we talking about? He's speaking for himself. He can't talk for the whole of Tobago. So these are the old people who get everything under PNM. Everything. Ask me what UNC gave him. Ask him what CDP. And my interpretation of CDP, the People's Danger Party. Danger. Put them in power. Although let it come to pass. And he can't talk for everybody there. We going different. TNM the foundation party for this country, Trinidad and Tobago. And nothing could change that. It is recorded there. It is history. They can write all that. Wasn't you could come with them on clean cells and say them could have undone that? They can't do it. TNM is the foundation, school, everything, road, everything. When you were using latrine and things, they bring lockjack and started putting sewer and all of that. You know about that? Have a blessed morning, eh?
Caller, good morning.
Hello.
Hi, good morning.
Morning, Bruce. Morning, Dominic.
Morning.
Bruce, I want to that gentleman to call about the UNC and the land in Tobago. I could tell you that is a fact. Because where I'm living, very close to the waterfront, I can tell you don't talk about when the weekends come. They're coming in their Prados and the big rental and thing, and they're only driving and scoping lands. That is all. That is all they're doing, just scoping lands. But they have it very hard because they can have no free land around that area. Eh? So let them come to try to grab anything here. And that gentleman who talking about we going different. Yes, he talking about we, that mean he and his household. Let them go different. He can be talking for Tobagonians. Thanks to Tracy. Tracy, you're late out on the table this morning. And who ain't hear that? Well, something wrong. Because I think Tobago people that stupid. Right? I hope they vote the proper way and the correct way to bring stabilization to Tobago and the continued work under the PNM. Have a blessed day.
Thank you, my dear. So, Dominic, at this time, we're going to close off because this segment is about to begin.
Okay.
All right. So, guys, we have...
Well, I'm heading out to IHOP for breakfast, and then it's a day of shopping. I'm going to Dolphin Mall, I'm going to Sawgrass Mall, Coral Square Mall. I'm going to have me a time.
Don't feel like I'm going to message you, you know. You don't feel like... This time I catch you, you know. Don't feel like I'm going to message you. Guys, we go into our segment here. I'm just going to let you know that the daily word for today is anticipation. So I am going to anticipate that Dominic is going to receive my WhatsApp message after work. Yeah, I go answer. Yeah. Something had to happen, man. Yeah. So guys, we go into a segment here, and this segment is going to take us with probably about a minute or two again before the ads. So at this time, as we say, Dominic, ciao. And we talk to you guys again tomorrow and
Thursday.
On Thursday. Yes, Thursday, please God.
Yes.
All right. So guys, we out. Dominic?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go shopping, bro. I'm going to message you in a bit.
Yeah, man. All righty.
Again. Yeah, well, I come to teach all about Paramount South. Let me explain it. Well, Christmas morning, I calling my friends. Say, bring your instrument, and yes, they gather all of them. We making a plan. Who we hitting first, and what song we singing.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to our annual general meeting of Eastern Credit Union for the year 2021. Let me begin by recognizing the representatives of the Office of the Commissioner for Cooperative Development, our executive management and staff, representatives of the Cooperative Credit Union League of Trinidad and Tobago, representatives of the Association of Corporate Credit Union Presidents of Trinidad and Tobago, representatives of the Central Finance Facility, presidents and directors of representative credit unions here today, representatives of Kuna Caribbean Limited, specially invited guests, members, friends, and well-wishers. Firstly, I wish to report that our credit union's auditors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, has declared Eastern Credit Union's accounts to be unqualified. Part of the reason for such good news is that the accounting approaches that Eastern Credit Union should be using are actually being used. The AGM of 2020, which commenced on December 5th, 2020, was reconvened and concluded on March 27, 2021. The AGM of 2020 resulted in the elections of new members to the Board of Directors, a new chairman, and executive. The period for the last AGM to date is just over 7 months. However, we got to the task at hand right away. There were several things that we had to address virtually instantaneously, and they were, namely, COVID-19, our response to it, with the primary goal of assisting our members and keeping branches open to ensure uninterrupted services to our membership. Secondly, ECU's debit card, the need to improve our service to our membership. Codification, there was a need to codify the rules of the organization. The need to apply total quality management, TQM. Delinquency, our delinquency concerns and the application of TQM to assist in driving it downwards. The relationship between ECU and EPL. The creation of a past president's library and museum. The need to play our part in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Let me begin with the first one, COVID-19. The impact of COVID-19 pandemic on all of us, and in particular on some of our members, was clearly more than what was imaginable. The economic shocks caused by the pandemic resulted in dislocation of jobs and negative financial gaps for our members. As a responsible organization, we had to play our part to reverse this unfortunate situation. Therefore, we implemented measures which were designed to attempt to close the financial gaps and reposition our members in a place of financial certainty. This was done through giving 2 moratoriums to our members, which left them for a period of 6 months with more income to navigate their way through this negative reality imposed upon them by COVID-19. The next step was to ensure that the branches were accessible at all times for our members throughout the COVID-19 period. This too was done and continues to be done through effective scenario planning. Today, our members continue to have full access to Eastern Credit Union branches. ECU's debit card. As you recall, in 2019, ECU told the membership to look out for the new debit chip card. And now we are pleased to announce that we are set to roll this out to the membership in the first quarter of 2022. ECU's new debit card will give our members upgraded security, features such as chip and PIN security, increased integration and access for our members to the local payment network, and greater convenience for membership. The need for codification. Our credit union has no shortage of laws, rules, policies, and terms of references. However, while that must be viewed as a commendable thing to maintain potentially high-quality governance and structured control, there was a need to bring all of those governing tools into a codified document. The effect of codification is to increase efficiency in decision-making and enhancing the quality of decisions to improve the internal workflow of the organization and increase its ability to respond more quickly to movements or shift in the external environment. Today, I am pleased to inform our members that such a codified document now exists. The need for TQM. Total quality management is a tool that has been implemented in most successful organizations and continues to be incorporated into many organizations today. TQM produces many benefits to organizations, such as to strengthen their competitive position and the elimination of defects and waste. This tool can be very useful to our credit union, and as such, we have begun to implement it in many ways within the organization. In fact, the acting CEO, Mrs. Joseph, said that it is for the first time that the board and management are on the same page as it relates to doing the right things the right way through TQM. TQM has been used to reduce delinquency and produce the codified document. This management tool will continue to be used to assist in accomplishing higher productivity and higher profitability for our credit union and by extension, our membership. Delinquency. Delinquency is viewed as a major diametrically opposing factor to the effectuation of profits, or in our case, to surpluses. In just about all credit unions and other forms of financial institutions, the COVID-19 pandemic led to an increase in delinquency and reduction in revenue. This naturally resulted in the outcome of impacting profitability negatively. Our credit union was not spared of this. The COVID-19 pandemic contributed to moving our delinquency percentage from the teens to just under 30%. This executive felt that this was unacceptable, and together with management and applying TQM tools, we were able to craft an approach that was comfortable to our members, while at the same time, it drove the delinquency percentage from almost 30% to approximately 19%. I wish to assure our members that by December 31st this year, the percentage will move virtually to a single-digit percentage. The relationship between ECU and EPL. In order for ECU to continue to grow and expand, it requires a good working relationship with EPL. And equally, for EPL to grow, it requires such a relationship with ECU. When this executive came in April of this year, we found that there was a relationship between the two organizations that was reasonably good, but which we felt needed to become a lot better. Good working relationships tend to produce more confidence in sharing opinions between leaders, and which can result in the outcomes of innovative ideas that can contribute to propelling the organization further forward. A higher level of working relationship can be transformed into effective teamwork or high-quality circles that foster positive energy and high growth morale, which potentially can be the foundation for productivity to soar. Today, we are pleased to inform our members that through the work of this executive, that the relationship between ECU and EPL has shifted from reasonably good to excellent. Now, both organizations are heading in the same direction. We now look forward with expectations to see the fruits in the form of increasing productivity in the not too distant future. Past presidents, library, and museum. The way we manage the history of our organization can result in that history being utilized as part of the organization's resource for now and in the future. Our founders and past presidents' history of Eastern Credit Union must be integrated as part of the organizational's institutional memory that flows into the existing management process of the organization in order to make sure that their history is accurately captured and integrated into our existing management processes. This executive has decided to establish a library with a museum dimension to it. We have already created a past president's committee led by Mr. Thomas Henry to oversee and lead the creation of this most meaningful project. The committee also includes Mr. Gary Cross, and Mr. Reynald Cooper. Today, we are pleased to report to our members that a location for the library with a museum component has been identified and agreed upon. The United Nations Sustainability Development Goals. One of the ways in which an organization can signal its value to its staff and members is through its involvement with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. When an organization participates in the Sustainable Development Goals, it communicates to the external environment the positive, integrative, cultural perspective that it applies internally to its staff and members. In addition, it demonstrates its motives to playing its part in sustainable development, not only for Trinidad and Tobago, but for the rest of the world. In this regard, we have created another committee comprised of past presidents, namely Ms. Bradford, who will chair and lead this committee. The committee also includes Mr. Joseph and Mr. Nigel Matthews. Eastern Credit Union leads the way, and in this regard, it must also lead in such a way. Finally, the surplus for the year 2020 has been impacted negatively because of several factors. We have attributed the decrease majorly to the COVID-19 pandemic. The net resulting effect of that was the surplus had to be reduced by $4 million. Therefore, the percentage dividends we would have preferred to pay out this year could no longer be paid out. However, I wish to reassure all of our members that based on the work that we have already done, we can say with confidence at this time that our credit union will pay out a dividend that is closer to 3% next year. Let me further reassure our members that ECU continues to grow from strength to strength. The management tools and approaches that we have already set in motion after only 6 months as the executive would make ECU even more robustly stable as it moves forward to address and overcome all the many challenges that exist within this ambiguous external environment. Let me thank everyone for attending this AGM today. Let me wish everyone all the best during the AGM and beyond. Let us continue with our strengths through resilience. Let us continue the process of reimagining our future together. Let me thank everyone for attending this AGM today. Let me wish everyone all the best during the AGM and beyond. Let us continue with our strength through resilience. Let us continue the process of reimagining our future together. Thank you all and enjoy the rest of the day. Good day.
The only DJ that brings the music when others bring noise. DJ Bruce Wayne.
Hey! ERX. Bonga S again. It's parang time. Jamie, don't play. Organize yourself. Let me go. Christmas on the junction. Creating my brethren a parang. But when we reach when he wife cooking, and there's a funny smell we getting, but we drinking and we liming, we paranging. When he white well, she come out and say, now it's time for dining. We are eating nothing that's smelling so. We are eating nothing that's smelling so. What's smelling so? I don't know. Eating nothing that's smelling so. We are eating nothing that's smelling so. What's smelling so? I don't know. When I jump up, say like he have bad luck because he gets pick up and the thing it won't stop. I tell him don't get frightened, but just don't take nothing. When we reach by the next day, but well we will eat something. We are eating nothing that's smelling so.
My children very famous. I sure you know my children. I sure. Thank you, Fernandez.
Thank you, Fernandez.
For naming me children.
For naming me children.
Thank you, Angostura. You make me a proud father. Say it harder. Thank you, Fernandez.
Thank you, Fernandez.
For naming me children.